What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Clubs. This is episode 76. I'm Dylan, alongside the two men that held down the fort while I was on vacation, Mila and Grant, as always. Got a jam-packed episode, trying a new intro out here. We'll start with the game slate from this weekend, which had Chelsea beating Everton 2-0 as the animosity between Maresca and the sporting directors grows. We'll then switch gears to Manchester City beating Palace 3-0 in a game that was kind of eerily similar to the Chelsea one. We'll then finally end that slate of games with Manchester United versus Bournemouth 4-4 in what was probably the most entertaining match as a neutral that you can get. And then we'll talk about how United need to survive AFCON and how we think they should line up in that way. We'll end the episode with a little bit of a preview between Chelsea and Newcastle as Chelsea travel to St. James's Park to try to keep up in the standings for both teams. Should be a good episode. I'm excited for this one. Hate being away from the podcast, but I'm glad to be back. But let's kick on into the episode. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Clubs. I'm Dylan. They just got punched in the mouth. They didn't even know how to react.
That is one Derby Diamond.
I'm Mila. Do we want to do a little prediction? That was the last time they showed initiative to go get a fucking player.
City still alive here. Balotelli. Aguero.
I'm Grant. They're talking a lot about you 15. How will you respond 15?
We downgraded from Peppa. Do you know how absurd that is?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's match day.
Yep. So here we are. Back again. We missed Predickies last weekend because I was out of town and I needed to update them from the episode.
We dropped
with
the ball on it. Let's be honest.
That's exactly no. Dylan was right. No. Dylan was right. That's exactly what happened.
So
continue.
We added in Grant's Predickie from the one that we forgot. So congratulations, Grant. There's your one. Finally have it. Here's your moment to bask in glory. That slate of games, the last one that we actually did Predickies on, I think we all went 2 for 4. Or I think, Grant, in your case, you went 1 for 4 because you took United and Wolves to draw. Which is totally fair. But
hey, Bellegarde scored a goal to make it 1-1.
You know what? That's pretty good. I honestly
call.
should give you a Predickie for that because that was an
Asterisk
insane
somewhere.
call. Yeah. But that's all right. We'll have more Predickies at the end of this one. Self-promo. We are going to get to 500 subscribers at some time in the future. Still not putting a date on that because I don't know what to do.
Next year.
Next year. Yeah. There you go. But follow us on socials, likes, comments, subscribe on this. We do great content every single week. We all put in a good amount of effort. So we hope you enjoy and continue to follow our journey. But let's jump into it. I've talked enough. Grant, Chelsea beat Everton 2-0. What were your thoughts on the match?
I mean, given the form we've been in, I'd say all things considered, it's a great performance. Great result, I should say. There were definitely chances in that game for Everton. I think both teams definitely missed some good chances. Everton did have some periods where they were really dangerous, but overall, I think 2-0, relatively fair scoreline. Malo Gusto, I mean, what a performance from him. Performances have been inconsistent for him the past year or so, but I feel like this year he's really, getting back up to speed in terms of what he's capable of. Reece James continuing to fill Caicedo's shoes, stellar job. Palmer comes back, immediately has an impact. Love to see that. And certain guys are looking leggy, like they've been playing every game, 90 minutes of every game. But yeah, a step back in the right direction.
Yeah, an important result, obviously coming off of 4 straight? Yeah, without 3 points. You almost needed it. I think there, and we're going to talk about the pressure that's being applied on both ends here, but Maresca needed a win to kind of stake his points. And I watched most of it, so the game could have gone back and forth. It could have ended 4-3. It ended 2-0. Like, it was just a really interesting duel of the minds with a lot of wasteful opportunities. I kind of want to hone in on one player in particular that just hasn't been good for a very long stretch now, and that's João Pedro.
Oh, it's almost like someone told Grant that he's a fraud.
I mean,
it's interesting.
I talked about it a few weeks ago on one of the 5 things. It's just he hasn't really been up to the level. My kind of interpretation of that was he had very strict instructions of what his job was when he first came in, and he was doing really well there. And the looser that leash got, like, hey, yeah, you can play in the 10 now. Hey, yeah, you can drop deep, whatever. He just wasn't effective. He's not affecting games. And I think he was better, but again, I would agree, Dylan. The standard has really dropped from when he first came in and really lit it up. He's very wasteful and takes too many touches. Like he'll hold off a few guys, turn somebody, and then lose the ball. Like he doesn't get rid of the ball. He doesn't know when it's time. And I feel like that's really where that disconnect has been lately. And yeah, his performances have been disappointing. You would have hoped with Palmer coming back, he'd be able to rest a little bit, but then Delap gets hurt again. So it's probably going to be another stretch of games where he's up top. Yeah, he's been disappointing. I was talking about him when Palmer got injured, that he's got to be the guy to take that responsibility. And yeah, he's not that guy. He's not like that. And not many people are like Palmer, but even just in terms of taking on that responsibility, yeah, not one of those guys, unfortunately.
This was my biggest concern with João Pedro coming from Brighton, was he was great for stretches. Like he can be a great player in spurts, but he's not a 15 matches in a row you're getting consistent sevens. He just doesn't do that. And also him playing in the 9, he didn't favor that at Brighton. He's not going to favor it here in Chelsea. And the way that the system
better
works,
than his 10 performances.
Yeah, but I always thought when he signed that he was going to play off the left. I just always saw that being the opportunity. But the difference is Estevao.
We'll get into that later, Dylan. We'll get into that a little bit too. But I think another sentiment we'll get into later. This isn't Brighton. Like you cannot get away with that. I think we heard a lot of it from Newcastle fans when Isak wanted to leave. That they're going to see what happens when he goes there, how inconsistent and whatever. But we didn't really see that, right? I feel like we almost romanticize these players that aren't playing for these giant teams that we aren't maybe catching every week. As soon as he goes to Liverpool, and again, I'm going to give him grace in terms of how he started there, but it hasn't been great. Right. So I think it's a similar thing with João Pedro. Like you said, you cannot get away with that drop of level, especially when we're missing important players in that attack. And you're one of the most experienced people in that room. Yeah. You have to take responsibility.
It's obviously not going to ring alarm bells in this particular match, but there will be a match in the future where it does cost you. Like, and you can just
it's already cost us.
Yeah.
He's already cost us in some games because again, when you bring in a guy for that money and in that position, you are asking something of them. I think it's understood, and especially the way he started with us, it was like, oh yeah, he can be one of these guys. I think there's no question about the talent. It's really just application, right? We have this argument all the time with so many different players, but he's clearly talented, and I do think he's getting leggy as well. I will give him that. But yeah, the performances have definitely dropped.
Yeah.
To me, it seems like you bought this player for the versatility aspect, and now you need him to have a defined role almost because of injuries. And he can't do that. So then it goes back to the versatility, and it's kind of just his downfall. He's capable of playing good or okay in multiple positions, but there's not one position that he's João Pedro's position on this team. And if there is, I think it's taken by their players.
I got to stop falling for these 9.5s, man. It's getting out of hand. How many times have one of these types of positionless forwards come to this club and just...
You killed the idea of Nkunku.
It's not even just your club. This is every club on planet Earth. Like there's United, there's an obsession with Joshua Zirkzee. The 9.5 thing doesn't really work. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. You have one?
He's got a finger up.
I just have a Holland.
Well, you also have a Marmouche, who's again in that kind of 9.5 role, and he hasn't.
He's a second striker, more of an inside forward. He doesn't have enough pace as a winger.
He's on Pep's bad side, it looks like.
It's crazy that that's actually a really funny point that the obsession of the 9.5 has come into the game, and it's probably because Pep kind of revolutionized the idea of that player, and then now Arteta does it with Havertz, and the league has changed to you need one guy, and they can't do that. It's just stupid.
And I think Enzo Fernandez too. I'm a big fan of him as well. And I think we've seen in games this year, in big games, he has played very well. Right, Barcelona and Arsenal both come to mind, and those were very recent. He needs to be benched, and not in a keep him banished from the team. He needs a break because he's not a notoriously athletic player. I think we would all agree on that.
Yeah,
and the more he's playing 90s, it's not going to get any better, and it's starting to affect the performances in a bad way. The guy needs rest, but again, we don't have enough there to, I guess, give him that rest that he needs.
Yeah. No, that's a really interesting point too, because he's sat out of like pretty much all the international breaks too, because of injuries, because he's been dealing with knocks
For
and
years now.
struggling.
Yeah,
And
just running him into the ground.
so, yeah, at some point, Maresca's got to have to figure that out. But on the thought of Maresca, let's. I'm assuming this is going to turn into somewhat of a rant. So
Ugh.
I'm going to let you have the floor here. I know you said you had notes, Grant. I want you to go ahead and spew it all out, and then we can all talk about it.
Cool. So again, I don't think this is like new information for you guys. I've been harping on this for a while, even recently too, but we had that quote come out with Maresca talking about this was the worst 48 hours I've had. I don't feel any support. And at first, I thought it was the fans, right? Because again, it's been really quiet. You know, the fans, they're really quick to turn as soon as we drop in any way, shape, or form. But no, it definitely not the fans. That was clarified. And then again, they wanted him to follow up. No, I said what I said. We're moving on. So a lot of the reports coming out now from Chelsea reporters are that, yeah, it was directed towards the board. Essentially, in simple terms, he's being instructed to rotate. That's why we bring in 15 players every summer window. But when we rotate, we've dropped points, right? And mind you, there have been games we rotate and we don't drop points. And as soon as that comes out, all the heat comes on my bald king. Very similar to what Salah was talking about. He thinks he's being scapegoated, and I don't ever see any reports about our sporting directors or our board. I always see stuff about our managers, so I would tend to agree with that sentiment. So he's getting upset at that, and he's being micromanaged by the board. Like, they are literally bringing up in meetings after the Atalanta game, oh, we don't like what you did here. So they're telling him how to do his job after the whole point was to get a yes man, right? Get a yes man who takes what we sign, do your job, be a yes man. That's what they want. And now they're telling him how to do the one job he's being instructed explicitly to do. I don't think these guys have the resumes to really be talking to him like that. We've seen people on the other side of this argument saying Maresca is a championship manager. He doesn't have that resume. If I'm not mistaken, we just got top 4. We won the Conference League, which again, whatever. And then we win the Club World Cup. So we win 2 cup competitions. We qualify for the Champions League. I think we overachieved, right? And these guys come from Brighton and Monaco, the Red Bull group. Like we were talking about with João Pedro, you two right here, this is not Monaco. This is not Brighton. This is not the Red Bull group. You don't have time for a young talent to develop, and he'll have rough games, just like we're talking about players who will have kind of rough periods. But again, you're on a lower level team. You can play through those performances and those dips. One bad performance and the entire country talks about it, right? This is a different level. We're talking about something completely different here. And these are the guys that we're trying to rotate into games. Hato, the last time he played was Karabag away. That was over a month ago. He had a rough game. Hasn't been seen since. Hato's a very highly rated prospect. I think he will be a very good player at this club. He's 19 years old. That's the backup for Cucurella, who's probably started every game he's been available in for club and country for the better part of 2 years. In a Euro tournament and a Club World Cup tournament, this guy's played 2 years straight. I mean, as soon as Colwill tears his ACL, we need a center back. What do we get? Nothing. Oh, we heard the Kudus links, Morgan Rogers, Fermin Lopez, Xavi Simons, that left wing 10 sort of playmaker, ball carrier, sort of another guy to pick up the load for when Palmer's not in the team. Buonanotte on loan. That's what these guys are setting him up with. I love Andre Santos. Is he ready to start week in, week out when someone goes down? I don't think so. You're going to have to play through these mistakes. Achampong, a guy I love. Again, he's 19 years old. Can he play every? No. So again, I think it's kind of crazy, the sentiment of it's his fault, Enzo Maresca, when this is the hand he was dealt. In my eyes, this is a guy who has succeeded in spite of what he has in front of him. I mean, Pochettino was a completely different manager to Enzo Maresca. Do you remember why he left? This exact thing, right? The more these guys get involved, the manager's like, oh my, this guy. And there's a balance, right? You can't have a manager saying, oh, you got to sign this guy, sign that guy. That's not how it works. But I mean, you have two completely different managers essentially saying the exact same thing about their bosses. I might think it's true. And my last sort of point on that before I specifically want to mention some of these signings, these are the same directors that bring in, or they sack Tuchel, bring in Potter, 5-year contract. He gets sacked in 6 months. Then you bring in Lampard as a caretaker who was sacked for the guy you originally sacked because he was not good enough. And then they brought in Pochettino, and now they bring in Maresca. So those other guys, that's your fault. The sporting directors, they keep bringing in bad managers and they keep bringing in bad players. Like, I mean, think about last year's window. Pedro Neto for 60 million. Joao Felix again for PSR reasons, as we all know. Dewsbury Hall for 35 million. Philip Jorgensen, 24 million. Omari Kellyman, 22.5 million. He plays for Cardiff City on loan, by the way, so we're going to see them tomorrow. Mike Penders for 20. Aaron Anselmino, 16.5. Matisse Amugu, 15 million. He's already been sold permanently to Strasbourg. Renato Vega, 14 million. Caleb Wiley, Mark Guiu, Sancho on loan, Tosin on a free. That's a rebuilding team, right? That's very clearly a rebuilding team based off that window. That team's not trying to compete. Okay, this year, a team that won the Club World Cup, Champions League, top 4, all that. Joao Pedro, Jamie Gittins, Garnacho, Estevao, Hato, Delap, Dario Sugo, Mamadou Sarr, Kendry Paez, Buonanotte on loan. I mean, that was my whole thing. I'm totally okay, and I understand the approach of, hey, this team needed a rebuild. We're just going to go sign a ton of wonder kids. We hit on Palmer. I think Estevao is going to be a hit. We're going to hit on more. Fantastic. At what point do these sporting directors take the onus and go, you know what? Now is the time to supplement this. Now is the time to bring in a player who's ready to go. He's going to get in. And again, it takes time to get adjusted to the league. I'm not saying that does not exist. What I'm saying is we can expect this player to play 3 times a week because he has played in the top flight for a while. That player doesn't have to be 30 years old. That can be a 24, 25-year-old player, but that player needs to be ready, and we don't have that in really any option, as much as I like our team on paper. So I don't know. It infuriates me to think that this is the manager that they're trying to almost have this sort of cold war against and turn people against him. It is just so incomprehensible to me. And these directors got an extension, by the way, before the window closed, before they did nothing. So yeah, I'm disgusted. I think they need to be held accountable exponentially more than the manager does. The manager is not faultless. He has made mistakes. He's inexperienced, just like every player that has been brought in. He needs to develop. If he were coaching at a Bournemouth, a Brighton, whatever, we would hear none of this. It would only be how good he's been. That's how it is at that level. When you're here, every bad result, magnifying glass. That's the game. So I just think that accountability needs to be shifted towards our board because this guy's being set up. He is being hung out to dry. Hopefully it just gets resolved in-house, but this shit pissed me off.
Yeah, it's a bit of a double-edged sword for me because I think when we initially talked about Maresca's signing, like back when we were first starting the pod, this was my biggest concern. You guys hired a puppet, right? That's what the sporting directors wanted from the start, was a puppet to be a head coach. And Maresca has proven that he is a very good coach that should be given more license to do whatever he wants. A little bit, right? He proved it with 2 trophies. He backed it up by doing pretty much everything they asked. And now we're getting to a point where this is ultimately where I always saw it going, was Maresca, if he performs well, is going to want more leeway. And the board is no longer letting him have any leeway. And not that they gave him any to begin with.
Right.
So one, Maresca knew this going in. This was never going to change. So that from that standpoint, he's at a fault there. Because if he thought that he could get another job somewhere else where he'd have more reign, should have taken that position. But the other side of that is, why wouldn't you give this guy more reign? He's proven with all of the talent that they've had, all the injuries that they've had, that one, he can win against the best sides in the world. He can win with a depleted side, and he's tactically flexible to do whatever the hell he wants. So it's mind-boggling to me that he hasn't been given that purchase to go do it. Like, it's not rocket science. It's 3 dudes who live in the US that watch our team from a million miles away who go, okay, like, we see exactly what's going on here. They need more experience. We've been saying it since day one. It's not rocket science to a certain extent. Just give the manager exactly what he's asking for. He's proven that he can do it with the players. So, I don't know. Mila, what are your thoughts on the matter?
I think the main thing when we keep coming back to this conversation, and the thing that boggles me every time, that just blows my mind, and I have to have Grant clarify every time, is what exactly are these sporting directors trying to accomplish? Because when Grant talks like that, he just did a 10-minute soliloquy about basically what communicated
Felt like
to me
30
that
seconds.
it's fine. I'm not complaining about the length of time. I'm just saying
No,
we're able to talk 10 minutes for that. And all I got from it was that there was some miscommunication when Maresca signed this contract over the sporting director's goals in the next couple of years and his goals as a manager. It just, every time we talk about it just seems like the sporting directors are trying to do what Brighton did. They're trying to make as much money as possible. You sell your youth players now. You don't really bring in that many. You don't bring them up from the academy. The guys that have the culture of the club ingrained in them, they're not coming through. You're buying those young talents and trying to mold them, and this forcing of rotation is just clearly, don't let their price drop. Don't let the asset depreciate. And I don't know. You can't be Chelsea Football Club and operate like that. And I think that's where a lot of the mess up top comes from, is that your fans are not those types of fans. This is not the type of club that is expecting okay performances and good profit for a good vibe. Like, you guys do not care if the vibe is good as long as you're winning. And whether that be a good thing or a bad thing as a fan, we won't get into. But this club should be winning. You should be competing for titles, be competing for Champions League. And if you're only going to get him 75% of the way there, why even make the big signings? Why even be so I don't know, hopeful in that these young players will become something if you're just going to sell them off for money and there's no end goal? So to me, it just seems like the sporting directors and Maresca are misaligned with the goals for the club.
Yeah, very well said. I mean, I think another good example would be towards the end of the deadline. I mean, everyone and their mother knew we were going to sign Garnacho after Jamie Gittins was already brought in. Jamie Gittins is 20 years old. I still think there's lots of talent there, but again, clearly can't play every 3 days, 90 minutes. He's not there yet. Go bring in a Morgan Rogers. Go throw 100 million at him, right? And again, I know we probably couldn't have done that for financial reasons. Why can't we do that? Because we keep spending 15 million on 17-year-olds, loaning them out for 3 years and hoping that they're good enough. And if they're not, we make a profit. Like you said, Mila, I think we can do that in the background, right? You can operate like that, buy 10 million here, there, loan them out a few years.
Identity in the transfer market.
Yeah. At what point do you go, I think this core is actually ready? You look around, you look at the other teams. Oh, maybe if we just get ready now players to supplement what we have in-house, all the success stories that we've had already, why don't we supplement that and start competing now? And then in 2 years' time, oh, this guy we just bought, who's, let's say he's 27, now he's 29. Oh, we can sell him because the guy that on loan at Strasbourg for 2 years is ready to go. Sure, go ahead. But to prioritize essentially hoping that a player grows instead of, we have serious holes in our first team that need to be addressed, that's when it becomes a problem. And again, It's literally happened again. It happened in January last year. We didn't have another striker. Jackson goes down. Disaster. Like, how could you let this
the Garnacho point is perfect, because like you're saying, Gittins can't play that many games, but you've identified the issue in the position that you need, and they went and said, we'll go for the guy that is going to cost us less right now because of the issues going on at the club, and then we'll just try
We're
to make
flipping him.
profit off him. Yeah,
We're totally
if
flipping
you
him.
get him slightly to improve, you make money off of him. Whereas
Look at
if you went
Madueke.
and got a Morgan Rogers and got 100 mil, even if he performs great, you're not going to profit off of that. And to me,
Look at
that's
Madueke.
like the core of how your sporting directors think, and that's the major issue.
It's exactly what it is. I think Madueke is not a bad player. I also do think Estevao in the future will be a significantly better player. Having said that, he was definitely productive for us, as frustrating as he could be at times. He knew the system. He's been here 2.5 years at that point. It wouldn't hurt to kept him around. Now we got to bring in Gittins, who's going to need time. Bring in Garnacho, who again, he's ready for this league, whatever. We know exactly what he is. Neto, I think he has stepped up as of late. And then Estevao, who is this otherworldly talent who's 18 years old. And I mean, he kicked out at Leeds, could have been sent off on another day. Yeah, he's not perfect either. So you've got these guys who you need to nurture when you're a few pieces away from seriously competing on all fronts. So that's the mind-boggling part. I understood why we went this way when we first started rebuilding. We had an aging squad. We were running out of juice. I totally understand why we went this route. At what point do you realize, oh, we're ready to compete? I just don't get it.
Yeah. The way that this is all set up is it's always a pipeline project. Everything is always 2 or 3 years in the future.
Yep.
Estevao is a 2 or 3 year project in the future. Quenda is a 2 or 3 year project in the future.
Great player.
The issue with that ideology is eventually the young players that you've bought 2 or 3 years before in that pipeline become old and no longer become the same serviceable player that you thought. You're playing the lottery every single week and hoping that eventually it works out. That's the current state of it. You will never
We've hit
reach.
a few times.
No, absolutely. No. You're going to hit.
Yeah.
But the issue is you might hit in year 1, you might hit in year 4, you might hit and then in year 7. The issue is there's no connection there. It's not like Arsenal. I'm going to use them as an example here, just because of the idea of their project, which has been they have a young talent who is very good in Bukayo Saka. We need to surround Bukayo Saka with the best players available right now because this is our best opportunity. What happens if Chelsea go another year where Cole Palmer misses 2 or 3 months? You guys you'll never win a Prem that way.
We have Buonanotte on loan, Dylan.
Yeah, there you go. That's that is the perfect example. Okay, Cole Palmer's here. We have Cole Palmer, who's this amazing young talent. It's almost like in football where you have these quarterbacks on rookie contracts. Not to go super American here, but you have a player like that. You might as well catapult your chances of winning now and not in the future because the future is never promised. It's just an idea.
I like Liam Delap. That's another market opportunity. Oh, he's 35 million.
Yeah. Did you guys need Liam Delap this year? Or did you need a proven 9? Did you need a Victor Osimhen? Or did you need
I knew you were going to bring him up. He has 6 league goals in Turkey. However, like you said, he's playing in Turkey, right? If we had an Osimhen, and again, I'm not sold, but we're just using him as an example, right? The proven striker. Yeah, I'd like our chances more than Delap. He's been petulant. He's obviously had injury issues. But again, I don't think Osimhen gets that red card just elbowing a dude for fun, right? He's a goal scorer. He's there to do a job. He's a mercenary, right? Like he's going to go in and do a job. We have guys learning on the job, right? And I think another criticism that Maresca gets a lot is you'll see a screenshot in a game that we lost where fullbacks are in midfield, right? The same people who want Poch back. What did he do when we started picking up form at the end of the season, Dylan? He inverted Cucurella into midfield. So it's just a really stupid argument. But the reason Maresca does this, why is Palmer in the left half space, not the right? We're trying to build something here. As we've been clearly saying, it is a rebuild. This has been a project. Look at Enrique's PSG because I think it's similar football that we're trying to play. These guys are able to do things all over the pitch, like Malo Gusto's performance. For all those times I suffered watching him in the double pivot, man, what a performance he had today. And he's had good performances in midfield this season. I look at Cucurella, who's done every job I can think of, right? Having guys that are able to do all of this is huge, right? Like even just looking at another team, Doku, the way he's been able to play between the lines this year, I didn't see that coming whatsoever, right? But that versatility and being able to almost like switch with Nico O'Reilly, like that's tough to deal with. So that's something that Maresca's been developing ever since he got here. And like you guys have both been saying, I think he's earned the right where these directors, if they were good at their jobs, could identify that he's the guy and to supplement him with talent. So yeah, really disappointing stuff. I hope this doesn't lead to what it can lead to. I mean, the guy's Italian. I think Juventus would hire this guy in a heartbeat. So like, I just really hope that this doesn't turn into any further of a problem.
Yeah, it's coming to a collision point. We'll see over the next few weeks how this.
If we drop any more points,
evolves.
it can get scary.
The only other manager
so
that has openly said something like this against the board and against the owners was Nuno, and Nuno got sacked like the following week.
All right,
So-
I'm hoping that they're as crazy as they seem are not that.
No,
Egbali's kind of crazy,
petty.
bro.
I can't say what's gonna happen, but there's definitely they're coming to a
And
point.
I could be looking too much into it, but there was this video from a few weeks ago where Egbali was in Strasbourg after we played Marseille, and he's like all touchy with the Zerbi and shit, and it's like this motherfucker right here. Like, I don't like it. I think there's like these power plays that these dudes are trying to pull. It's all politics. It's all bullshit. I think Maresca's the guy. I think he's Chelsea coded. The one silver lining I will take is you're starting to see the fans back him more, because one thing we can all get behind is this board is full of fucking idiots. I literally made a joke that we would sign another kid, and we did. That kid might end up being a world-class defender, Dylan, but I don't know. We have a center back problem now. So
probably
again,
we'll never
Brighton
know.
can go do that.
Yeah,
Brighton
we'll
can
never
go flip a player. We don't have time for that shit. If we have to pick one, get a guy that can play now. That's where we are currently, right? So you have to adjust to the times, and fuck, it's frustrating because Mila, I told you, they're not doing shit in January. This is what we got. So we're here, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. My whole argument with that is if you guys were serious, you would. So I guess you're just
No, if
not
those
serious.
assholes were
and that comes down
serious.
to the board. Yeah, like they're not a serious club right now. You guys, or at least from the top, that message
not
is
serious.
not.
The boardroom is
echoed down.
unserious.
They are unserious. Yep. All right. Well, let's talk about a serious club, because Palace is a tough place to. It's a tough place to play. It's a tough team. Like I said, it was. I just watched the highlights because I missed the game, but it was just like the Chelsea game where there was just a ton of chances both ways. Could have ended 4-3. Could have ended.
They should have had at least
Multiple.
a goal.
Yeah.
At least one. I think that says a lot on what I've been harping about in some of the 5 things, though, is that our defense is looking like that old defense that got me off my seat back in the day, where they just throw 3, 4, 5 bodies in front of a shot. Nobody cares. Like, if you're gonna get hurt, you're gonna get hurt. Wait, the ball's not going in the back of the net. So I'm starting to see that a lot more again. And as a defender, that's one of the best things I think I've seen from my club, is when Ruben Diaz first got to this club and was celebrating every block and tackle like a goal. That's the type of energy that winning defenses have. So I'm happy to see that again, just to start from the back. I do think the midfield struggled a bit in this game. I know on paper, statistically, it's not going to show you that. It's going to say Nico G had a good game. It's going to say Foden had a good game. Do not listen to the statistics. Foden did not play to his standard. I won't say he had a bad game. I know Pep did, and I know Foden did, but I don't think he played bad. It was more so that we have such high expectations for him. And if we want to win anything, he needs to perform at that expectation. And he knows it and Pep knows it. So they're both comfortable coming out into the press and saying, I or he did not play up to standard today. And that's fine. We still got the 3 points. He still scored a goal. His classic Phil Foden goal. So that's great. Holland scored another penalty. This time I watched the penalty. Didn't watch the Real Madrid penalty. But I watched this one, and if I'm being honest, these goalkeepers should be saving that penalty. He puts it down in the same spot 7 out of 10 times. It's not in the corner. It's right to the side of the goalie, and it's literally, if you just do your homework, he's gonna put it there. So I'm happy he made it. I'm not confident that in a high pressure situation he's gonna score that. And then what else? Nico O'Reilly continues to be a G. But the thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was more so the Cherky-Nunez link up that's been showing.
Hooper's Olden Club. Brought to you by Cherky and Nunez. I think it's funny that Nunez has kind of become just this like integral piece to everything.
Pep
When we
loves him.
And he doesn't even see himself as
He's
a right
been
back.
loved him. No, I think he's starting to. I
You
think
better. It's a
that
good
video
position for him.
from the City TV, he was joking a little bit, but yeah, he's certainly taken the role and moved forward with it to a way that I don't think many people thought was possible, including me. I thought he'd do an okay job. In these low blocks though, and these games where we're gonna have majority of the ball in their half and just try to make something happen, he's electric. The guy can cross. He's fast as shit. He's strong, and he does have the bozo gene from time to time. But if our center back pairing is gonna play the way they did on Sunday, then I'm fine with having the bozo on the right, especially with Nico O'Reilly being the most consistent left back in Premier League football right now. It's nice. But the main thing is the flair and the enjoyment that I got from just watching those two link up. You expect a little dinks and flicks out of Cherokee, but you know that he makes someone feel a type of way when you see Mateus Nunes also getting in on the flicks and tricks. And I don't know. It looks scary. If they're just going to be doing that fluid, no stress, flawless footy on that right side, I think it's going to be very difficult for most teams to deal with. And then if you want to just take into account that Semenyo might be on his way to the club, you have Cherokee go inside like he did towards the end of the game. You have Semenyo and Nunes on that wing. I think there's a lot of possibilities, and Cherokee is the focal point for all of that. He's leading its assist man in the Premier League with nowhere near as many minutes as the other people. So exciting times, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm going to focus on that last point that you made about Cherokee being the focal point. It's really interesting seeing him because he just garners so much attention. It's almost like drawing a double team every single time. So then when he is doubled and you got to get it out, you have to give it to somebody. Nunes has been that guy, and his crossing, when you have a freak like Holland, you kind of just put it up and good things happen. And that happened in this one in particular.
Mm-hmm.
One of the few legitimately two-footed players.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I've heard he's more comfortable with the right, but likes to dribble with the left, like the freak that he is. He's just actually the definition of ambidextrous. Crazy. But yeah, I think going back to that focal point thing, I think to the points that we talked about earlier with Foden, more so last year, where it was like he needs help in the creative area. It's not really his cup of tea. He can do it. He's a great passer of the ball, but he doesn't have this future sight like a KDB or a Cherokee. And I think we're seeing that. He's got 2 assists and 7 goals this season pretty early, and I don't think he even got going till around this point last year, and we know he was struggling, but I just think he has his joy back, and Cherokee's a big part of that, amongst other things, but he just opens up the game for everyone.
Cherokee's been very impressive. I think a lot of people we talked about it already, this preconceived notion with him. We just talked about it with João Pedro, where it's like, yes, this player is very clearly talented, and I'm not saying they're on the same talent level, but what's the application? It's a very similar question that a lot of people had about him. I think he has answered that question very, very clearly. We talked about it a few weeks ago, whether is it, hey, is he gonna be this crazy flair guy, or hey, can he do a job when he's told to? He's shown that side. And again, those assist numbers, it definitely helps having Holland. But I mean, you just watch the games. I mean, he very easily could be in double digits already. I mean, he has this ridiculous eye for a pass. And like you said, that sort of creative onus, there's a fear when you're playing against that. And that just opens things up for everyone else. Like you said, Foden is incredibly technically gifted, but just being this pure creator, not necessarily him. When Cherokee is on the field, makes things a whole lot easier, doesn't it? So I think he has immediately had that impact. And I mean, like you said with Nunes, he was playing left wing last year, bro. Like the job that he's done, I think it takes tons of discipline to kind of lock and say, you know what? Yeah, I am a right back now. Maybe he did say that as a joke or, oh my God, but he very clearly put a lot of time. And I think his positional awareness has improved a lot since he first started right back shifts. I mean, I see him a lot when they're in possession settled as the right center back in the back three.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you said, in the low blocks, just boom, darting run. This guy's lightning quick, hard to track that, and making something happen within the chaos of trying to break down a low block. He has added so much value to you guys. And do I think you can still maybe get some cover there? No doubt. But
Cover. That's the
I
thing
think
too, is like that conversation needs to be had because originally the talk was to go get that starting right back. I don't think there's many starting right backs in world football right now that'll do a job better than he's doing. And yeah, you could say that could be Purple Patch. I don't know
seen it
though.
on the other flank too.
Yeah.
You brought in a left back. He looked perfect for the job, and 2 months later, O'Reilly's taken that job. Like these things can happen, even if it is form. Yeah, get someone to compete with Nunes, but he has absolutely earned the starting spot, just like O'Reilly has. I feel like we talked about him way before he started getting minutes, even. So I don't need to say too much there. But yeah, I mean, I don't think you would have thought that you would have this competent and settled of a fullback pairing at this point in the season. So I think that's huge for City.
Definitely.
Yeah. We got anything more to say on this topic, or should we switch over to the other Manchester
Keep
clubs?
going, boys. Blue Mafia all the way.
Yeah. Pressure keeps mounting for Arsenal.
Pretty short.
Alrighty.
I think if I missed anything. I don't think we did.
No. It's kind of box standard stuff for City at this point. They're in that groove again. Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, United played one of the most entertaining matches as a neutral. It gave me a heart attack. Ended 4-4. just a bonkers game. Like United just play basketball games, and that's something that I've just been kind of getting used to. I think I'd rather them play this style and play in this manner than be the other way around, which is it's a total 180 from what we saw last season, which was they didn't score goals. They had to be a 5-back, which I actually want to have a side tangent on that in a second. I'll let you guys kind of talk about what you saw from the match, and then I'll go on a side tangent. But United lose this game last year. Should they have won this game today? Yeah, they probably should have. But I can tell you one thing. They definitely lose this game last year, and there is flexibility that is happening. It's just how much more can any United fan really hold on to? So I'll let you guys talk about it, and then I'll get in my tangent about the 5-back thing.
I think, like you said, it went from really boring and I don't want to watch this. And I honestly feel like I could say that about some of United's recent games as of late, to immediately have the 180 of, oh, never mind. Instead of it being incredibly boring and tight, we're just going to play basketball. Like you said, this reminded me of like Poch Ten Hag going at it, right? Just no midfield allowed, back and forth. Like it was a great watch. I wish I was neutral. I had a really tight fantasy game, so it wasn't. Bruno Fernandes, great performance. And again, I think not in that ideal position we saw it defensively. I think you can't question United's ability to score goals. I think Dylan will bring up XG at some point. They are number one in XG in the league. But I think the flip side of that coin is you're wide open. It's incredibly easy to get at them. And I think you have to find that balance. That's what the game's all about, right? It went from incredibly boring to the exact opposite where it's wide open. There has to be a way where you can meet in the middle in incredibly, incredibly simple terms. But yeah, that was really fun to watch. Mila?
Yeah, I mean, I think you covered it. They are third. They're tied with Arsenal for the second
goals.
most goals in the league. And that's competing with my team who annihilates teams.
38. Damn.
Yeah. So to that point of their offense has improved. Check. Done. Good place. I think this kind of just proves the whole argument that we've been going on and on about, though, is that this guy is not a moron. Like, he definitely knows some things. I think there's been improvement, and it's very clear that, improvement in attacking categories. When you bought 3-4 attackers in the window, makes sense. For him to make it the second best goal scoring team in the league, and he just got those additions 6 months ago, I think is great. And to my point, if they just make the other additions to the team, then they should be okay going in that direction. there's definitely arguments to be had over how he deals with the press and his youth teams.
Oh.
But I don't know. I think he's going in the right direction, and I just think there's some of the non-football stuff that he lacks, and it's making this perception of him go all over the place.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I mean, look, he plays a defensive formation, and they can't defend. That's really, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna fucking blame the manager for that. He's doing everything he can to set it up defensively so they don't concede, and they're still conceding. So to me, that's a player issue.
I disagree.
If he gets those, I mean, you can disagree all you want, but until he gets those
He's
players,
playing wingers
again, I'm
there.
going. Yes, but
That's
who
what he's
else
wanting
do you
them to
want him to
do.
play there? Who else do you want?
No.
him to play
I'm
there?
not saying it's wrong, but I think personally the philosophy is ultra attacking. I don't think it's a defensive philosophy because of the way he's using those wing
I guess.
backs as
Okay,
wingers.
that's fair. That's fair. Okay, I could see that.
Yep.
But I think it's protecting the middle. The three center
Yes,
backs and
yes,
the two,
yes.
the double pivot is protecting the middle, and it doesn't do
Agreed.
that. That third goal specifically, I had to watch Casemiro run for his life to track down freaking
Tavernier, yeah.
And then he
Tavernier,
chopped him down for
Tavernier,
no reason.
and then he
Like,
chopped
way
him down
too late.
exactly.
Way
But
too late in
that's
the play.
another
If that was
thing.
the play, he
A
should have chopped him
Baleba, a
down.
Wharton would have caught up to him and got the ball.
I think you could also.
I would
make
also argue. Oh,
Go ahead.
And also, I watched
say,
hella people watch the ball on that too. Like it's not just Casemiro's fault. Everyone just kind of shut off on that play.
I was also going to argue with again, like you said, you are set up with the three and then the double pivot in front to protect the middle. I think inherently by playing Bruno Fernandes, who again, I think was phenomenal today in one of those double pivot positions, you're telling the other team, we don't care about the middle when we don't have the ball.
I'm going to go back to this question. Who else do you want him to play to protect the middle and still get the attacking going?
I do not get paid what he gets paid. I will also.
But that's my point.
No,
like,
it's
so what we were talking about with Chelsea is like that's a miscommunication in terms of goals. In this, I think they're aligned with goals. Let's get back United to its former glory, and he's kind of just waiting for them to fulfill the promises on their end. I genuinely think like if you give any manager this job and do this shit, they're gonna struggle a little bit. He came out and said this originally, right when he got there. He said, "I'm gonna struggle."
Yeah. I think you could argue the same with the Chelsea job at the time as well.
But Maresca didn't come out and say he's gonna struggle.
Sure.
No, there they went. We're gonna get you your players. We're gonna get you going. But with Amorim, they're getting. It's gonna be a while. Just hang in there, and we'll get you the players. They've shown nothing but faith to him for the most part.
Agreed.
So I do think there's a plan there, and it's just moving slower than people want, especially United fans. Like, you guys have been in the dumps for a long time. I understand wanting it to speed up, but that's not how this shit works. Some teams can have a fire sale and go buy 15, 25 players in 2 seasons, like Chelsea. You guys are able to get rid of those players too. United weren't able to get rid of those players. It takes longer to get them out. And I think these are just the things that we keep harping on and people forget. It's very emotional when it comes to United. I don't know. I'm not a huge Amorim fan, but I just, from a coaching standpoint, I do think he gets way too much shit for this job. This job is so difficult. And I don't know who's going to replace him. If you're going to get rid of him, you start from square one again. And then I don't know. It doesn't seem like the right move for me.
It's interesting. He's just he's a very polarizing figure in his own right, and I think that rubs people the wrong way. All the stuff that came out with Manu and the academy guys, obviously that's going to ruffle a lot of feathers. I think he just says what's at top of his mind. I don't necessarily agree with that style, but he's never changed, right? So if you were expecting him to change that way of him being like that, I'm sorry, you didn't know who Ruben Amorim was, and you haven't noticed that from day one. So I am going to say that, Grant, you said the thing exactly what I was thinking about the 5-back. United don't play a 5-back. That's fucking ludicrous to think so. Anybody who says that is just agenda farming their opinion that they don't like the 3-back thing. Because I'm going to list off the players here, and you tell me if they're a defensive player or if they're an offensive player. Is Ahmed an offensive or defensive player?
He's a winger.
So offensive. Euro,
Center back.
defensive.
Yeah.
Heaven, center back.
Center
Shaw, his whole
Left
career
back.
has been an attacking fullback. Dalot, his whole career has been an attacking fullback. Bruno Fernandes has been a 10 his whole career. Casemiro's a DM. And the rest are all attacking players. So United play 3 defensive-minded players in their lineup.
That's fair.
In the outfield, yeah.
It's not a defensive formation. I think it's just a stupid
Are
statement.
you saying it's a 5 back on paper then?
People just
When they're
that's
defending.
that's the
Off 5 back,
consensus.
off ball. It's a 5
I
back.
think
off
when
ball.
people,
I don't even think it's
people
off
say,
ball 5 back. I
people
really
just
don't.
say 5 back
Then-
to, like Dylan said, try to say without saying it, it's defensive, but they almost try to
It's not.
infer that. It's the furthest thing from a defensive setup. And I
Yeah.
also think with relationships growing, like an Ahmad and Mbumo, I saw a lot of Mbumo getting wide and Ahmad filling in those 10 roles. And I think you can even say the same. I've seen Dallo in the middle and Mount will run out wide to make sure the width is being held. Like, so there's that sort of understanding and interchange. But I think the big downside to that, when you're as spread out as you are, every time they lose the ball, it's 1 or 2 passes away and you can get got at. So I think that's the big problem that they have.
I'm going to push back on that comment because that's not an Amram decision. When they lose the ball, that's an individual error. A turnover in possession is an individual error. This particular match, Bruno did it. Mainu did
Shaw
it.
on the first goal.
Shaw did it. They were all individual errors in a. And look, again, we aren't tactico master solution people.
Of course not.
But I think immediately we all talked about the fact that Bournemouth are a high pressing team. It's exactly what they do. Shaw taking an extra touch at the byline with 4 dudes around him. That's not on Amram. Right? So
for sure.
Look, should United have won this game because of did United lose the game because of Amram? I don't think if you coach a 4-goal game,
I wouldn't say this game. No. I think Amram's definitely shown signs. I still think my sentiment is that he's not the guy that will get you there. And he, like we were talking about too, he almost digs his own grave every time he kind of goes against the fans and says shit like talking about the academy players. I don't think he helps himself. People love that arrogance when you're a winner, but if you're not winning anything, they hate it. So, I mean, that's really what that is.
That's the best way to put it is he's not winning, so people don't like it.
No, that's exactly what he's been saying in his press conferences.
Yeah, which I think is fine. This is a lot of the time. This is why I give him slack. The stuff I don't like is the Amas is not performing.
No one brought him up.
Comment.
What are you doing?
Yeah,
he is performing. He's their best player right now. So there's clearly a disconnect with the youth team. But with the Mainu stuff, sure, they could have their issues. Mainu has his fucking chance right now. He had 30 minutes in this game. He played pretty good. And he's going to start next game because Casemiro accumulated yellows. So for all that bullshit, all he said in the press conference was, if Mainu wants to come talk to me, the door is open for him to come talk to me. Regardless of what that solution may be, he wants to talk to Mainu. So a lot of this to me, I mean, when you come out and say that, and like Dylan said, he's been honest for the most part. Like that's just a personal thing between him and Mainu. That just needs to be ironed out, which totally can happen.
I think for as much as he's given shit for the stuff that he said in that press conference, that Mainu point really stuck with me because it coincided with 2 things. One, he said, I am excited. It was like I am excited about Mainu coming to talk to me, which a manager doesn't say if he doesn't fuck with him, right? Like, and the second thing is the 4-back formation thing getting leaked today. Those 2 things go hand in hand. That tells me that he clearly has a vision with Mainu playing at some point here in this run. And there's no other way that Mainu doesn't play. So
do you guys think?
Go ahead.
I don't know. With the Mainu thing, it seems like the coach has one idea for him and the player has another idea. And this seems like a classic example of Mainu's a little bit upset about the plan. And they just need to get aligned on that. Not so much that it's done and dusted. It's over. But maybe... I don't know. Maybe he said, I'm not comfortable playing you next to Casemiro or next to Bruno in starting games. Once we get that replacement for Casemiro, you're going to be in the team, and he didn't like that. Like, who knows? This is all just hypothetical.
Yeah.
But for him to come out and be like, hey, I'm open to talk to him and not just like poo-poo him when he is this honest press conference guy. He's not trying to appease any fans or media. I do think part of that has to be Mainu in some extent. It can't be all on the manager, and I think a lot of all the bullshit that's going on is placed on the manager. Some of it may be the manager, but I don't think saying everything that's going wrong right now is Amorim's fault. Especially, you guys drew. You dropped points. You're still 2 points off of like 4th place, aren't you?
Yep.
I don't know.
It's not the end of the
That
world.
situation.
They're acting like Amorim's a relegation manager right now with all the shit I'm seeing, and he's really fucking not. It takes a run of 5 games in a row, which you guys have been asking for, and then you're back in conversations of being a top team for the time being. So
To
it's
be
like,
fair,
I don't
I'm
know.
pretty sure his. I think I saw it like since Amarim came in, he's like 15th out of or 14th out of the 17 Premier League teams. Like, I don't think he's been great. But to your point, this year you turn the page, right? You move on. That's really not of concern. I do think he's not a great manager, so I'm going to use that to point score.
Of
But
course, that's fine.
in this
Yeah.
conversation, it's not that relevant.
It's easier to pick
the
on
way
him.
I looked at the Menu situation, as Amarim has said very bluntly, he plays in Bruno's position. The 6, which is
That's fair.
Casemiro, and
I'm
it
not
can't
that
be
bad, yeah.
Ugarte. I mean, again, just it's bad recruitment, but those are your only 6s. He sees Menu as an 8, and I personally think it's inherently an issue that you cannot find time for a player of his quality, regardless of, yes, he's a young player who will struggle. We just talked about it for 20 minutes in the Chelsea section. I think he has to get minutes, and I do think it's a problem that he isn't. But to your point, it does feel like this is going in a good direction because I think him coming on next to Bruno, I mean, right, that's kind of crazy, right? There's no DM
And
there.
I think that settled a lot of nerves for some United fans, and the fact
I was
that
shocked.
why the fuck is he not playing Manu next to Bruno? Well, he did it, and now this is his chance to go prove to the manager.
Saw what it happened.
Like, this is kind of my point. The manager's giving him his chance right now, and it's all on Manu to go out and perform. He has his chance to go take that spot and do your job, and then there's no issue here. But to go point fingers at the manager is crazy to me. Especially at the point that they're at right now. It's not like they have the perfect squad. There's no expectations of them to be really competing for anything, but they're right there. They're right outside of, and they're touching it. So,
yeah,
his brother's an idiot.
That's kind of where I'm at.
His brother is an idiot. Yeah.
Yeah.
That just.
I mean, especially with the Garnacho shit that just happened. Like, why even bring more bad press to your brother who's already having a tough time?
That's the worst part of this whole thing is literally Manu has acted like a perfect professional, has done everything that he's been said to do. He went to them for a loan request. He did it all behind closed doors. There was nothing that has been in the media that Manu has gone out and done for his brain dead brother, who clearly just wants to be in the spotlight, to show up in that shirt, do the whole pose. Like, that was planned. His brother's just a douchebag that put his brother under a ton of pressure now for no reason, because the storyline of this match should have been Kobe Manu came into this game, played well, and is now going to get his chance to prove it. Instead, we're talking about Kobe Manu and his dumbass brother saying free Manu. It's a bigger deal now because of that. And it's so dumb because Manu didn't need that. He didn't need that. He just needed to prove it with his play, and he did it today, which sucks because now there could be a whole thing where he gets disciplinary reasons because his fucking family member went to the media, went on fucking Fabrizio's thing. Look at me. I'm a douchebag Love Island fanboy. Fuck him. I'm sorry. That really pissed me off. And Manu doesn't deserve that. Whatever. Let's switch gears to something that won't make me as well. That's gonna make me sad, not mad. United have their three of their best players leaving for AFCON, and Mbeumo, Diallo, and Mazraoui. And I think let's together the three of our
right side just deleted.
No, I've known that this has been my biggest concern. Is like
I forgot about Mazraoui, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's like having bye weeks in fantasy.
He was already
football.
gone. He was already gone. I bet he could have been a very important player when they moved Dallo in, because Yoro wasn't. He looked a little leggy at the end there.
Struggled today. Yeah.
And so, oh man, here we are. I think we should start it with what I saw today, in terms of an adjustment, because when the game moved into the second half, this is what the formation looked like. And where is my friend Martinez?
The Butcher,
who is still getting up to form, but there was a couple of different things that they did, but it looked like
Sheshko, right?
this for a little bit. Yep. I'm gonna put
Mbuma
back up.
played 90.
He came off early, but for
Extra
Xerxes,
time, right?
same thing.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
right.
where's this?
Yeah. That won me my game.
And then C.O.C, which this is a 4-2-3-1. There was also a point in the
Mhm.
game where he came off, and then I
Xerxes.
forgot. Was it Xerxes who came? No, there was something before that. Shoot, Shaw came off for
I'll find it. Shaw came off for Dorgu
Dorgu. Okay, so it wasn't. It was this was the change
in the 90th minute.
I
No,
can't
at one
remember
point Shaw was at wing back, or he was getting up there, and
Yeah, and then
Dallow. I thought Dallow was at right center back, and Ahmad was still wing back.
Yeah, so that was what it was. I moved Ahmed out. That was the issue.
Yeah.
Ahmed came or stayed in for the whole game, right?
Yeah.
And then C.O.C wasn't in the game. This is what they played. It was like a really.
No,
It
he
was.
was.
It, like
Manu
Cunha
came
was
on
picking
for
up
Cass
spaces
in
here.
61, and then
So it was a 4-back, and that's what he was hinting at the whole time, this whole game. And I think that eventually, with this AFCON thing, it's a perfect time to experiment with it because you've lost your whole
Mhm.
right side.
Mhm.
So let's just simulate, because they play Villa at the weekend. How does United line up with those guys out?
I think this is the worst game that you could have lost Casemiro for, to be honest.
Yep.
how long's the licked out?
Apparently nobody knows. He doesn't know.
Dang.
It was supposed to be a short-term thing. He's now missed 3 straight games, and
So I have to
Heaven
assume he'll be out.
was super struggling. The central center back in a back three is just such an important position, and you can't get beat
Ask
in
Tosin.
behind. You can't get beaten behind. Heaven got beaten behind like all the goals in his own 6.
I've
or
seen
in
it.
His own
I
18.
don't.
It's
I
just-
don't think he's that central center back. To be fair,
No,
it's
And
being
why are you
forced.
giving the least experienced center back as the central guy that should lead the line? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense
Well,
to me.
the issue is the
Shaw
only other
has to be
center
on the
back that
left.
can do it is Euro, and Euro's just as inexperienced in sense of age in that position. So you're just throwing someone in there who you can
Euros
think.
played European, like he's played high level footy.
But then
But
you have the
Heaven-
left footer on the
Heaven's
right
high
side,
level footy. I understand that, but I don't
and
know.
he's inexperienced. Well, you're 2-footed, Mila. You have to give these young kids some grace. They're not built like you. They're not
Sorry.
2-footers like you.
So okay, how do we see United lining up against Villa?
Is C.O.C starting? Yeah, throw him in there.
Take Casemiro out. He's banned.
Mm-hmm.
That makes
Holy
it
shit, dude.
very difficult. If you want to start Ugarte, the game's
Dude, Mount's
done
starting.
and dusted
Mount's
from the
definitely
start.
starting.
Yeah, Mount will start. He's been great.
I think that this is. Where is he?
Dog, this
Mount's
should be a
been-
diamond. That should be a diamond. But imagine if you make that a diamond now.
Well, you just lack
Mount at
all
the
depth
10 and
or
So
width.
then you
Cunha,
just lose-
Šeško.
You have Shaw and Dalot as your width. Like, come on. Let's be
Hey,
serious.
Dallow already holds width all the time.
You don't want them to be your only options for the wide areas, though.
I don't know, man. Like, this is rough.
This is super rough.
For one game.
Shit. For one game, I think you
They'll probably just go
fucking
back to what they know.
get rid of
I'm
Ugarte
honest.
and just try to
it's-
play basketball game.
My thought on it is okay. So this next game is the team, one of the teams that's underperforming the highest in the league in United, because they have like 33 goals, or they're around the same, but they're expected to
30
get a lot of
goals, yeah.
goals. And Villa is on the other side of the spectrum, where their chances haven't been great, but they're scoring at an unreal rate.
Thunder Bastard FC.
So if it was me and it's United, I think I'm playing something like this, and maybe it's this instead, where you're having Cunha out here and it's Dorgu instead, right? And you're trying to go to something maybe a little more reliable. But if Delict's out again, it's been pretty telling when he's been out. But this is
And Martinez
I think,
starting is a big ask too, no? I mean, he's coming off major knee surgery. I don't know if
Yeah.
he can even give you a night.
Right.
He's gonna have to.
He gives you an
He-
hour.
Maguire's
The oth-
out too, right?
The other thing that you do is you play them together, which, to be fair, he did in this match, right? And you play them together in the back too, and maybe that gets the best out of both of them, right? And then you tell Ugarte, like, this is where United actually get into a back five.
Drop in the possession.
When he drops
And you
into
know,
center.
for the next two
Yeah.
games, because you're playing Newcastle and you're playing Aston Villa, this is what you do. And
Two
you
left
tell
backs. You got to take one of them out, Dylan.
right. But the thought process is this, and maybe instead
Ah,
that
so
actually right, and that's really what this will look like out of possession or in possession is this, and you play a 5
Okay.
back, but
Because it's familiar.
right, and out of possession, maybe it looks more like this, right? And then you've
And I
got
think,
these two
yeah,
interacting. And this is where I'm going to have more criticism of Amram because we all knew AFCON was coming. We all knew this was going to be
Let's
the
see what you got.
situation. I know what he can do with the new crop of guys. He's
we
proven that he
already
can be one of
talked
the
about.
best.
I don't know. We already talked about, like, we've talked about how he has no options already before AFCON, and now we've taken away his 3 best options, and now we
this
expect
is
him to work with it. And I'm like, I don't know.
It's a pop
look.
quiz. Let's see what you got.
Fuck, and they didn't give him a pencil though.
No, I guess
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I think this is when, and this is tough circumstances along with suspensions, injuries. Like now you're missing guys from AFCON. This is really when we'll see kind of his managerial chops in my eyes, right? Like,
I do agree with that,
these
but like
circumstances
also
are
like
very tough. Let's see what you
when
come
you're
up
working with
I'm very
nothing
intrigued.
already, and then
More nothing.
It's like it's just
Statistical.
this is why I was saying
it's
post
happening.
January is when I'll judge him, because they'll get the new signings.
I'm going to judge him, but maybe I won't be as critical.
No, I know.
Against him.
I mean, I'm gonna judge United no matter what. Let's be honest. But when it comes to just this manager and the slacky or the shtick he's been getting, like, I don't know. I think I'm a little more understanding than most rival fans, and for this to be the time to be like, all right, prove yourself now. We just took away your best offensive outlet this season, the guy that has finally figured it out at right back and is a threat every game, and then you're reliable Mazraoui. I don't know how to describe him in like a perfect way. He's just reliable and versatile. But to subtract that and then have DeLitt out, Maguire out, Martinez coming back from injury. Like, I'm looking at this right now, Dylan. It's Casemiro, Dorgu, and Xerxes.
So fried.
Those are the most fit options that he has. And that's before we even fill up the lineup, the 11. So also to everyone that was talking about the youth team, he's probably going to have to bring a couple of them up for the next month. So maybe he was waiting for that too. I don't know. It's interesting to deep like this situation. Like you said, they knew this was going to happen.
I think that there's been a plan, and he kind of alluded to the idea that they've been working on a back four for a while. It's not something that's been new, and they're doing it in games, the 4-4-2 press, or in this case, it was the 4-2-1-3 or whatever. I think that he has to prove that when he cannot play the system, because he physically cannot play the system as currently constructed, because like I said, I think it's too defensive if he tries to play it his current way. You're asking to get beat pretty bad. This is where he needs to prove to, I think, everyone that he's willing to change when he absolutely has to. And I have some feeling that he will. And if he doesn't, I'll be upset. But I'm only going to be upset if they don't pick up a result, right? Like if United go in here and they pick up 2 points, let's just say it's 2 draws against Aston Villa and Newcastle.
Okay.
Would anybody be mad? No. Like if they pick up 3 points in one of the 2 games, would anyone be mad? Probably not. But the pressure of everything that's being considered won't be there, and there'll be this just stupid heightened pressure on him. So I guess it's just a wait and see kind of situation. And that's what it's been for United. But to end the Amram point, I don't like looking at last year's and adding it into what he currently has, because last year he was given 1 player and he was given an awful squad. This season, they're in 6th. They've scored the 2nd most goals in the entire league. And there's been improvement. It's just nobody wants to admit that, because the sour notes so far this season have been very sour. And as a fan, I get there too. But scope out objectively, United have, I think, picked up a result in 13 of 17 or 12 of 16, whatever we're currently at, which I'm sorry, like let's look at the other teams that have lost 4 games. It's Chelsea, it's City, and those teams are, and Villa has lost less games, right? So it's really not, it's not as bad as it's being, pictured over. Whatever. Screw them. They're gonna have to figure it out. Let's quickly preview the Chelsea versus Newcastle game. We'll give our predictions and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, bro, I hate this game.
You get Caicedo back for this one?
Thankfully, yes. Last time we had this fixture, we had a Jackson red card, probably ended his Chelsea career with that. Pretty ballsy performance, and then conceded a second right at the end. Yeah, this is a horrific fixture. And I think it's Saturday, 4:30 local time over here. So early kickoff after playing in the cup, also kind of annoying. Big road trip, tough ground, and they're gonna be pissed off. They just lost Tyne-Wear Derby 1-0 own goal, so they're gonna probably try to take that out on us. Really physical midfield. We're gonna need Caicedo back. Enzo's legs still worry me. I'd imagine Reece James doesn't play in the middle of the week. We need him up for it, whether it's right back or in the middle. I think this is another perfect game for Romeo Lavia, but unfortunately can't stay fit. That Fofana Chalobah pairing has been godsend. 5 clean sheets in their last 6 starting as a pair together. It's been huge. It's been absolutely huge. Given our defensive deficiencies, to have Robert Sanchez in a Golden Glove race it's huge, and I think that also speaks to the quality of the manager we have. But we're going to need attackers to score goals. I think that's obviously what it comes down to, right? I think we have a center back pairing that we can see that has been trusted. They're showing good form. Our midfield speaks for itself, especially with Caicedo. Cole Palmer probably play an hour or so, hopefully a little more. He's still managing injury. We're going to need these wingers to step up, whoever it may be, whether it's Estevao, Neto, Garnacho, Gittins that gets the call. We're going to need a big game from one of them, and we're going to need whoever's up top, probably Liam Delap. Not Liam Delap. Joao Pedro, you're going to have to score a goal. Someone's going to have to do something. Someone's going to have to step up. Yeah, I don't like this fixture one bit.
Yeah, Newcastle is one of those teams that forces you to play their style of footy. Doesn't matter
Especially
how
there.
good or bad they are. That's just they force you to play a blunt style of footy where you're just constantly getting beat up. And honestly, Caicedo getting as it doesn't help the point tally for Chelsea, getting a 3-week rest before this game, that's honestly pretty big. Sorry, not 3 weeks, but 3-game rest. I really don't. Newcastle, they really haven't impressed me this year. The only light that I see for them is Voltemata, and if Chelsea can shut him down, I just don't see them scoring. Gordon hasn't been great. Murphy hasn't been great. Ramsey barely plays. Like, they just don't have enough attacking talent for me to be worried from a Chelsea perspective, other than Voltemata. So
no mention of Carrington graduate Anthony Elanga, Dylan?
There you go. There's another guy. 1 assist and what?
Yeah, he's been bad, man. It's they needed a guy to help him break down a low block, and instead they got a transitional demon who played under Nuno, who, as we know, parked the bus and then boom, he's off. Right, like that suited Elanga. This does not suit Elanga. Seeing the fruits of that, but yeah, their attack's not threatening. I think we can give them chances, no problem. If we're not up for it, if we're not on our A game, if Enzo Fernandez is still leggy and he loses the ball, Joe Linton stomps on his foot. They're 2 passes away and we're in trouble. And we've seen us defend in transition.
Miley started the last game, which was interesting to me.
Well, so
especially when
they're all shin kickers in there.
Burns injured again.
Burn is injured, but they're just going to play Shar, so it's fine.
Yeah, Shar and Xiao. Yeah, I think on paper we have the advantage, no doubt. I don't like this fixture at all. And I know they're going to be upset. They're going to take it out on us. And I think if we lose the ball in bad areas, those are the chances right there. I don't think it takes much in that sense. So that's why I think we really need to be sharp. We need to be on it. Caicedo rested. Yeah, he played against Atalanta, but other than that, I mean, he hasn't had a rest like this in years. Huge. Absolutely huge. Those guys need to dictate the game. They need to control the game. They need to push Newcastle into that 4-5-1 settled. And when Newcastle lose the ball, they need to be ready. They need to break. I mean, we saw a really good goal we scored this past weekend in transition. I think Sanchez has been huge because I used to be much more worried about set pieces and his presence on those. He's been fantastic, claiming crosses. I mean, I just cannot believe the turnaround from this guy. I'm so happy. And then he starts counterattacks. Like, he immediately is pushing it and getting rid of it. I've been so pleased with Robert Sanchez's performances. I really just cannot wax lyrically. I cannot wax lyrically enough about this guy, and I can't believe I'm saying this shit. Like, if you showed me this clip 6 months ago, I'd be like, damn, AI's come a long way. But it's unbelievable.
Do you think it's gonna be a Reese Caicedo midfield pairing or the
Yeah.
Enzo Caicedo?
I'd like to see Reese, Caicedo, Palmer in the 10. I think Enzo needs
So
that break.
Enzo, and yeah. So
don't-
what?
I don't want him
You're
starting.
gonna give him a week and a half break.
I mean, maybe he does start tomorrow. I don't think he does against Cardiff. They're a League One team. I know it's still not going to be easy by any stretch, but in theory, you shouldn't have to start him. Regardless of that, though, I'm just looking at the game itself.
I
No,
mean, you
I
should
would
play
not want him.
Caicedo.
Oh,
Give him
Caicedo is
some
110%
match
starting
sharpness.
this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to. I think it's going to be Reese there, Gusto at right back because
played
Enzo's
well.
performances, regardless of what you want to blame, maybe I'm just coping by saying he's leggy, has not been up to the standard. Just like Mila was saying with Foden, he had a solid performance. There's a standard there, and there's a reason that guy has won the trophies he's won. They hold themselves to that standard. I hold Enzo Fernandez to a very high standard. We brought him in for a ton of money. There's a reason we did that. I think he has quality. Hasn't been good enough lately. So I do not want him starting. I think, especially coming off the bench an hour in, let's say, I think he can have a strong impact. So, yeah, I think it's going to be Reese Caicedo pivot.
All right, Mila, I think I heard you say 0-0. Is that your predicky?
Mm.
Or are you going to switch it up?
That's so gross.
I know.
Predicky 0-0.
But 4:30. Tough physical game. No attackers on either side that really are moving me. Yeah. No. We'll go 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I need Chelsea to prove to me that they can be consistent again because they haven't been consistent for the last 5
Make
games.
Chelsea
So
consistent again.
I'm going to go 2-1 Newcastle. I just think that's a difficult place to play. And I don't love the form of your striker, and I'd rather take Voltamata if I had to pick one striker and figure it out.
Scored an own goal.
Yeah, he's good at fucking putting
Great
the ball in the back
finish,
of the net,
dude.
baby. Yeah, he's sick. So, yeah, 2-1. Grant, what you got?
Yeah, 1-1 for me. I want to predict a win, obviously, and I think we're definitely capable of that. But just historically, with how this fixture goes, early kickoff, question marks in terms of how we can set up. I don't know. I just have my doubts. However they end up scoring, is whether it's cheap or not, reeks of a cheap goal to me, and then us not finding a way to get it in the back of the net. One of those, keep your chin up points, which can be degrading. 1-1. Hope not.
All right.
We
Okay,
gotta do
so-
the other predickies too.
Finish off. Manchester City play West Ham. I'm just going to go like 5-0. I don't know. It just feels right.
Haven't been back in the goals, to be fair.
They have.
So I'm going to go 4-1.
Dude, any West Ham fan probably hates this podcast. We just always assume they're
for
going to get
sure.
bashed.
Yeah, because
I mean,
as they should,
suck.
dude. Even if West Ham weren't in a
Statistically,
relegation
we have
fight, I'd be
scored
speaking the same way about them.
We've scored more goals than they conceded.
Is it at the
by only
Etihad?
6. Yes. I gotta check.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, dude. Maybe I should have changed my prediction.
4-1's pretty. I
Yeah.
feel like it's a pretty good guess.
Yeah, I'll go 4-1.
I'll go 6-0.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm feeling good.
6-0. I like it. And then the last game is United versus Villa.
Where's that?
It's at Villa Park.
It is at Villa Park.
3-0 Villa.
Sure.
I don't know about that.
It's not a gimmick, guys. It's just exactly how I feel based off of how my analysis when I watch.
Okay, maybe I was sleeping on their defense a little bit. 2-1 Villa.
I'm going to go 2-1 United because I think it's a battle of just everything that is opposite of each other. The upside down and the right side up. I don't know how they've rattled off 9 wins, but I think
They're pretty good defensively.
I feel like a couple of United. Well, in the last was it 4 games? They've conceded 5, or sorry,
John McGinn
4,
passion sessions have
5,
just been super crazy.
7. In the last 4, they've conceded 7. So
7 of their 17, though. Like
yeah,
they 17 goals.
Yeah, they've been really good.
So if they sacrificed a little bit of defense to win 9 games straight, is my point, and they're gonna score goals, whatever. I know they're not high XG goals. I don't know. They're a scary team though, for sure. On paper, they really shouldn't be that.
Morgan
good,
Rogers picked it up. He
but
started the season.
I think
slow,
Emery's got them ticking. Yeah.
I'm just hoping that I think there was a couple managers United have had that have said stuff about records and stuff being broken and change happening or whatever. So I'm just hoping that this is one of those things. I think they've won 9 straight.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm hoping that we don't make it 10. That's literally the only reason that I'm going with that. But yeah,
I don't know. They have belief in their manager and their team right now, which is a scary thing for any team.
it is.
They went and beat title favorites. They went and beat us. Granted, we didn't have a 6, but you guys also don't.
We don't have a
6 for
6
this game. So that's where
Hey,
my,
they have Ugarte.
They don't have a 6. Yeah, it'll be super difficult to overrun the Villa midfield. They're one of the more physical teams I feel like this year, and they just are pretty good. Also on top of that, so
yeah,
it'll be tough. It's a big game for Manu though. Again, I think it'll be a big talking point at the end of on the weekend.
Yeah, it's all about stacking performances. Can you stack performances? We'll see. All right, good to wrap it up. Alrighty, cool. Well, from myself, Grant, and Mila is below us. We have been Clash of Clubs. This has been episode 76, and we will see you guys in the next.
2 words for him. Different gravy. Glorious goal! Wreathed in red. We're really seeing the most extraordinary finish here. On this day of days, has he delivered? Just magnificent! Potentially life-changing! That's football. Minute you let it under your skin, then you begin to make it better.